Learn more, achieve more.
Okay, students, today we are going to complete the solid state in one shot. And here we are going to cover only important topics in the within short span of time to give a touch to the topics which are most frequently asked in the examination that we are going to cover. Okay. So if you got any doubt in any topic or you want more practice, individual topic wise lectures are already there. Okay. This is only to give general idea. So this is a time savior for you and give directions. In the short span of time you will be able to cover more topic, but individual topic perfection you will get and you will go for the theory and numericals related topic. Okay, so as I am using this slide session because solid state is a one of the three-dimensional topic. That's why I have to use this slideshow so that you can get the more idea in the short span of time instead of drawing it, and that drawing may not be perfection. So already drawn and colored diagrams I have picked up so that it can be easily understood to you, and we can also save time in drawing the diagrams. Okay. So let's start solid state one shot. Understood? So here the very first beginning, in the very first beginning, you will have one tabular form. Okay. Right from the tabular form, we are going to do it. So every point will be covered, but somewhat speed enough and somewhat touch only we will be able to give. Okay. So crystal, depending on the arrangement of solids, solids are divided into two types: crystalline solid and amorphous solid. Okay. If the particles are arranged in irregular manner, if the particles are arranged how? If they are arranged in irregular manner, okay, this is the irregular manner, then it is called as amorphous. If the particle are arranged in regular manner, okay, then they are called as a crystalline. Once you arrange them, you will have a definite geometry. You will have a definite geometry. So crystals are going to have definite geometry, but there is no definite geometry. They do not have. Amorphous solid do not have definite geometry. And one more very important keyword, they have long range order. Okay, and people think that as an opposite word they don't have range any order. Okay, they have order, but what they have short range order. Okay, so long range order and they have short range order. It is irregular, agreed, but some places to the some extent they will maintain the order. Okay, and next one is they have sharp melting point. Here the distance between two consecutive particles. The distance between two consecutive particles is everywhere it is same. Okay. So once distance is same, what we can say, bond length will be same. What will be same? Bond length will be same. Once bond length will be same, so bond energy will be automatically same. So bond energy same, that means temperature also will be same. That's why they have unique single melting point. If we ask the melting point of a crystal, we can give one single value. Sharp in the sense you can give only one single value of melting point. Okay, like 113 degrees Celsius. So here this is called as sharp melting point, only one temperature. Okay, but they do not have sharp melting point. So instead of sharp melting point, what they are going to have? They have range of melting point. What they are going to have? Range of melting point. So once you ask amorphous solids melting point, you cannot give a single value here. you can say the melting point starts from 110 degrees Celsius to 120 degrees Celsius. Why? Because here some particles are nearby, some particles are large enough. Okay. So here you can find bond length is more. So once bond length is more, obviously what will be high? If bond length is more, then bond energy is going to be. If bond length is more, then bond energy is going to be. Okay, once bond length is high, bond energy is going to be low. So the temperature at which they are going to melt will also be low. So like 10 degrees Celsius, this bond will start melting. Okay. So the bond which I am corresponding, I am pointing out this bond is going to be melted at what temperature? 110 degree. But here it is opposite. Bond length is less, so bond energy will be more. Therefore, it will start melting at 120 degrees Celsius. Okay. Even though all are there in the one solid, but they do not start melting. Their melting will start at different temperature. The melting point is obviously depends on the bond length, or we can also say on bond energy. Is it understood? Next difference between the crystalline and amorphous form is there is a irregularity in external form when crystals are formed. Okay, crystalline solids give a regular cut when cut with sharp edge knife. Okay, simply when you are cutting, so there is a regularity in the external form also. Okay, so when you are cutting, suppose this is a crystal. Okay, so when you are cutting with the knife, it will cut in a perfect shape. You are going to get what? Smooth shape. What you are going to get? You are going to get smooth shape. But when you are cutting the same amorphous solid, this is amorphous solid. Okay. So already there is irregularity in its shape itself. So when you cut, you are going to get rough surface. Understood? Next, heat of fusion. Already I told you here, the heat of fusion of any part of the solid. Okay. You can pick from the left side on top and right side on the bottom. You can pick any part of that. You take 1 gram. Then heat required for fusion of that 1 gram is going to be same everywhere. Okay. So that is called as a characteristic heat of fusion. Characteristic heat of fusion, is it understood? The amount of heat required for melting any part of that solid, entire solid, you take from any part. You can take from the core, you can take from the right hand top corner, you can take from the left hand bottom corner. It is going to require same amount of heat, but there is no such characteristic. Sometimes in the core, if you wanted to melt, you may heat require more amount of heat. Sometimes at the bottom of the left corner, you may require less amount of heat. So we cannot exactly give the correct value. Okay. Different places of amorphous solid, different places of amorphous solids is going to have going to require different heat of fusion. That is called as a do not have characteristic heat of fusion. Okay. Next, physical state. Crystalline solids are hard and rigid. That is good. But main problem is they are distorted by mild distorting forces, not distorted by. Okay. Because of the hard and rigid. Because of the hard and rigid. Hard and rigid nature is due to which bond? Which type of bond corresponds to? Which bond is responsible for hard and rigid nature? Okay. So the main reason behind the hard and rigid nature is due to the presence of ionic bond. Most of the crystals constrained particles are most of I am saying because there are another chances are also there. What are the other another chances and what are the examples of that another chances? What properties are being uh, allotted to them because of their intermolecular forces that we are going to study. Okay. So, but here mostly hard and rigid nature of the crystalline solids are because of the presence of ionic bond. Okay, but in amorphous solid, they have comparatively soft and not very rigid. These are completely rigid and hard. These are soft. When you compare with them, they are very soft and can be distorted by bending or compressing. There is a difference. Brittle is different, bending and compressing is different. Okay, and very, very important, you can underline this. Okay, most important topic of this entire tabular form is this one, anisotropic, isotropic. Okay, so surprisingly amorphous solids are isotropic and crystalline solids are anisotropic. Okay, even though they have regular shape, they have regular arrangement of constant particle, their optical properties are not same. Regular arrangement, but properties are not same in the different direction. That is because of non-compensation. Okay, suppose this cube I am taking. What is this? This is one cube I am taking. Okay, so this cube is a crystal, but optical properties are not same in all direction. Okay, optical properties. This is related to which property? Optical properties. Optical property example is refractive index, and some other properties like conductivity, thermal expansion of different direction. Okay, if anything, if any property is different in different direction, then such solid is called as a anisotropic. Okay, see here, direction dependent. So first of all, I am taking the one refractive index in this direction. Okay, this direction is which corresponding body diagonal. Okay, the light rays passing through the body diagonal. Okay, so the distance between the two corners or two consecutive lattice points is going to be root 3a. That how root 3a that we are going to study. For the time being, you can assume that. Understood? But when another ray, let us take another ray, let us take, it is passing through the phase diagonal. Okay, so the next particle it is going to meet will be at root 2a. If it passes through the edge, then it will meet the next point at a. So the distance between the two consecutive points will be different when rays approaches in the different direction. So once rays approaches in the different direction, the properties also will be different. That's why this is anisotropic. Remember. Okay, crystalline forms are anisotropic, but surprisingly, amorphous substances are isotropic. Okay, why? There is a compensative nature. Suppose here, if they are nearby, but next particle will be large enough. So the decrease in distance is compensated automatically by the increase in distance from the next point of view. Is it understood? So there are some examples. Okay, crystals examples are NaCl, CSBr, and these examples you can understand. Okay, I hope this is the differences between. Mostly we can expect one good question from this tabular form. So noting down and in-depth study of this tabular form is going to be very helpful. Okay, next topic is again crystals. We have studied the solids classification based upon the solids classified based upon what? Based upon the arrangement. And now we are going to further classify based upon the intermolecular forces. Okay, so there is chances of integer type question. Okay, if the classification of solid based upon intermolecular forces, four types. How many types? Four types. same classification of solid, but based upon the arrangement, they are divided into how many types? Only two types. Amorphous crystalline are classification based upon the arrangement. Now, based upon the intermolecular forces or interparticle forces, they are classified into following type. Okay. So the very first type is molecular solid. First type is what? Molecular solid. Second type is metallic solid. Third type is covalent solid. And fourth type is ionic solid. Okay. These classification is based upon the attraction force. Classification is based upon the interactive forces between the particles of a solid. Okay. So like in molecular, there are three types of attractive forces are possible. Dispersion or dipole forces. Second, interaction, hydrogen bonding or van der Waals forces. Okay. Dispersion forces means van der Waals forces, dipole. Okay. Third one is hydrogen bonding. Like in argon, argon is an example of what? Dispersion forces. But HCl is an example of dipole. Okay. And H2O. See here why we have written ice, because we are studying about the what? Solid state. Okay. So and again paraffin wax. Paraffin wax is example of what? Dispersion forces. Okay. So molecular solids are further classified into three types. Okay. Why three types? Depending on the interaction forces. Okay. But why they are kept together? Because they all contains molecules only. Constant particles are molecule, but the nature of attraction force between the molecules are different. Okay. What are those molecular forces? Dispersion forces, dipole forces, hydrogen bonding. Okay. And physical state, because of the weak interparticle forces, they are very soft and there is no chance of any electron. That's why they are insulators. They are what? Insulator. Now coming to the metallic. Okay. Second type is metallic solids. Metallic solids have positive metal ions with mobile electron. Mobile electrons also called as a sea of electrons. What they are called as? They are called as a sea of electrons. Okay. And what they contain? They contain positive ions. They contain positive ion and delocalized electrons. They have delocalized. These delocalized electrons are responsible for many properties. Okay. Examples, I think everybody know already: copper, zinc, silver. Okay. And the like here they are soft, but here they are hard and ductile and malleable. Ductile means that can be drawn into. That ductile means that can be drawn into. Okay. Okay, they can be drawn into wires, then they are called as a ductile. If they can be drawn into sheets, then they are called as a malleable. Malleability is converting into sheets. Ductile means converting into wires. Okay. Now, because of the mobile electron, reasoning questions are there. Because of the mobile electron, they are in conductors. Because of what? Everybody know that metals are conductor, but reason is due to mobile electron. If there is a two options, electron and mobile electron, then most appropriate answer will be mobile electron, because for conducting movement of charges are required. So that mobile word is essential. Okay. Next, coming to the covalent. So here we are going to have atoms. Covalent solids have constrained particles as atoms. Okay. And bond between them will be covalent bonding. Okay. Covalent bond will be arises due to the sharing. Okay. Example, SiO2, silicon carbide and diamond. And due to 4 covalent bonds, due to the presence of strong covalent bond, they are extremely hard and they are insulated due to absence of any unpaired electron. But there is one exception. What is that exception? Graphite. What is that exception? Graphite being covalent solid. Okay, graphite being covalent solid, but still it is graphite being covalent solid, but still it is conduct conductor. Okay, so there is an exception to insulator, that is what? Graphite. Understood? Then ionic crystal. Ionic crystal obviously contains ions, and the bond between them, interparticle force, is going to be electrostatic forces. Electrostatic forces. Okay, and examples are NaCl, MgO, KCl, BaCl2. They are also hard and brittle. Okay, see, there is a difference between hard and brittle. Okay, this brittle nature is a difference for the metallic solid and ionic solid. Okay, ionic solids are brittle, whereas metallic solids are ductile and malleable. You cannot convert the ionic solids into wires. You cannot convert the ionic solids into sheets. Okay, now they are good conductors of electricity due to only when and under what condition, either in molten condition or in aqueous solution. In molten or aqueous solution only they are. In solid state they are insulator. Here this conductor is not in the solid state, they are the insulators. Okay, in the solid state. Okay, next one is Bragg's equation. So Bragg's equation is related to the procedure of X-ray diffraction. Okay, most of the students are not able to understand X-ray diffraction. That's why I will try to explain through the two diagrams. Okay, so before understanding the Bragg's equation, you should know there are two types of beams. Okay, one is called as a transmitted beam. Second is called as a diffracted beam. Okay, what is second called as diffracted beam? Okay, so this is what representing here. This is a crystal which is under study. This is what? Crystal which is under study. We are going to study about the crystal. This is a part of the crystallography. Okay, crystallography is study of the crystal. So this is a part of the crystal. Now this is the incident beam. This is the incident beam. It is allowed to incident on or fall on the crystal under study. Okay, if this crystal is not there, then this is the direction of transmitted radiation. That beams could have gone through this. This is the direction of passage in absence of the crystal. Okay, but because of the presence of every atom, every ion will act as a diffraction grating. Okay, so what they will cause? They will cause the diffraction. Okay, so this is the diffracted beam. Okay, so incident beam in absence of crystal or absence of particle will be called as what? Transmitted beam. In presence of the particles, they will be called as a diffracted beam. So depending on whether our incident beam is transmitted or diffracted, we can know the presence of particle in that space. Okay, so the distance between two diffracted beam will be automatically due to the two different particles. Okay, so that with that we will come to know the distance between the distance between the two particles. If particle is there, it will be diffracted. If particle is not there, then it will be transmitted. Okay, so the distance between two diffracted beam is just equal to the distance between two particles adjacent to it. Okay, so this will be more clear when you go for the next diagram. Don't worry. Okay, so I know that this type of problem arises. That's why I made another diagram. Okay, so the angle between the diffracted beam and transmitted beam is 2 theta. Okay, and here the angle between the crystalline plane and incident X-ray is theta. Okay. The angle between incident ray and crystal is theta, whereas angle between transmitted beam and diffracted beam is how much? 2 theta. Okay. Okay. Next, coming to the next part. Okay, here is the next diagram. This is called as an interplanar distance. What it is called as? Interplanar distance D. Our aim is to find out the D. The entire crystallography or the purpose of X-ray diffraction method. Okay, this is one plane. This is another plane. Okay, the distance between them is D. That interplanar distance we are finding out. Okay, so here this is the X, this is the Y ray. Okay, that means it is not Y ray is not something new, only named. It is X-ray only, but ray Y and ray Z. Okay, so it is being diffracted by the first layer itself. By the what layer? First layer itself. Okay, whereas second ray is diffracted by the second layer. So because of that, see here, they both are coming parallelly. They both are approaching parallelly up to here, but this ray traveled q to r extra distance, r to s extra distance. Okay, this second ray which is diffracted by the second layer, okay, is traveling extra distance. Okay, when comparison to what? When comparison to first ray. Okay, so because of that extra travel, the time gap will be there. So when we receive at the same place, okay, suppose it is received at 10 hour 05 minutes, okay, 05 minutes, but this will be received afterwards, okay. For easiness, I am taking this value, but practically this much gap will not be there, okay. So this is received. Both are coming out from the source at the same point of time, but the reaching time by the second ray is delayed with respect to the reaching time of the first ray. So that delay will be directly proportional to both velocity same, okay, and time of starting is same, okay. So velocity is equal to distance upon time. Velocity is equal to distance upon time, okay. So here time is equal to what? Time is directly proportional to distance once velocity is constant. What is constant? Time is directly proportional to distance. So here more distance, more time it is taking to reach the same destination. So the time gap we can convert into distance by using the speed. By using what? Speed. That's why n lambda is equal to 2d sine theta. The formula will be y 2d because 2 times it is traveling extra. Okay. So by using the trigonometry, this angle will be theta, sine theta. Is it understood? Okay. Okay, next one is here about the very basic terminology what we are going to in this chapter or we are going to study. Okay, so after clear diagrams also people are not able to understand. That's why this multicolor diagram. Okay, now if I point out this, okay, here this diagram will give you the complete crystalline concept about the terms we are going to use. Okay, in the crystallography, we are going to use every time three words: lattice point, unit cell, and crystalline lattice. Okay, suppose if I talk about only this point, let us take this as a C. Okay, if I take this complete portion, how many? 8 points. These 8 points. Okay, then let us take it as a B. Now I am taking entire portion, that is A. Okay, here A is called as crystal lattice. What A is called as? Crystal lattice. Crystal lattice is always a huge structure. Crystal lattice is what? Always a huge structure. Whereas B, it is constituted by repeating this portion only. See, this is repeated here, this is repeated here, this is repeated here. Likewise, the same thing is here it is repeated, here it is repeated, here it is repeated. So same thing is repeated again and again to get this huge structure. So that's why this is called as a unit cell. What is B here? B is a unit cell, and what is it is made up of small particles. That small particles are C. Okay. What is C here? C is lattice point. So when you combine some few lattice points, first what you will get? You will get the unit cell. When you repeat the unit cell, what you will get? Entire crystal you will get. Okay. Three things, three levels. First level is lattice point. When you combine lattice points together, you will get unit cell. When you repeat the unit cell, you will get the entire crystal lattice. Okay. These three level, I think now it is clear. So largest level of the crystal is crystal lattice. Smallest level of the crystal is lattice point. Uh, Between level is moderate level is unit cell. Okay. Now this is the unit cell diagram. This is the unit cell diagram. In a unit cell, we require two types of parameter. What are those two types of parameter? Interfacial distance. Okay. What we need to have? Interfacial distance. Interfacial distances are A, interfacial distances are B, and interfacial distances are C. Okay. And second parameter we need to know are interfacial angles alpha, beta, and gamma. Alpha, beta, and gamma are what? Interfacial angles. Interfacial angles are different. Interplanar distances are different. Okay. Interplanar distances are ABC, and interfacial angles are alpha, beta, and gamma. Okay. Okay, next one is about the types of unit cell. Further, we could come to know that there are unit cells are there. Okay, but in the unit cell also there are basically divided into how many types? Four types. But here just as an example, I am telling you. Okay, so first one is simple cubic unit cell. Here all corners are occupied. Further classification, exact classification, we are going to do it in detail. Okay, so first one is simple cubic lattice. Understood? Now it is not necessary that only one type of lattice points may be present. Okay, so there can be another type of lattice points are also present. Okay, so like this is a edge center. Okay, this is edge, this is edge, this is the edge center, this is body center. That clear diagram we are going to have. So unit cells are further divided depending on the location of the lattice point within the crystal. Location of the lattice in the crystal. Okay. Okay, now we are going to study elements of symmetry. Very, very difficult topic until unless you are understood with the clear diagrams. It is not possible. So don't forget and don't deviate from the subject and try to stay till last. Okay, because such clarity will be there only through these diagrams. Okay, so now we are going to study about elements of symmetry. Okay, crystal is known for the regular arrangement. Crystal is known for the regular arrangement. So regular arrangement will always give you some symmetry. So there are how many types of symmetry in a crystal? There are how many types of symmetry are there in a crystal? Okay, so there are three elements of symmetry. If the question is about what are the types of elements of symmetry, what should be your answer? Three. What are those? POS, plane of symmetry. AOS, axis of symmetry. COS, center of symmetry. Okay. And first we are going to study about which symmetry? Plane of symmetry. Okay. So in that plane of symmetry also two types of symmetry are there. Two types of plane of symmetry. Okay. So first one we are going to study There are two types of plane of symmetry. First one we are going to study is rectangular plane of symmetry. Which type of symmetry we are going to study? Rectangular. Okay. So this is the rectangular plane of symmetry. And quantity are how many? There are three quantity. See, it is horizontal. Okay. Horizontal. This is vertical. Vertical but perpendicular to us. Now vertical but parallel to us. Understood? So this is one plane, this is another plane, this is first plane. Now rectangular plane of symmetry. These are very, very important because nowadays questions are there deriving empirical formula. They will say all points on one of the rectangular plane of symmetry are lost due to some defect, so that you will be able to answer this topic as it is not important. But if you don't understand three-dimensional diagram, then answering such question will be a difficult. Okay, so people without studying basics and understanding the basics, if you start preparing for the direct question, that is what the problem we are arising. Okay, so rectangular plane of symmetry passes through which lattice point? Then your answer must be, what is this lattice point? This type of lattice points are called as, these lattice points are called as, these lattice points are called as, okay, and this lattice point is called as, okay. So rectangular plane of symmetry passes through which type of lattice point? If question comes, that answer you will be able to do only once you see this diagram clearly. Okay, observation of the diagram is very, very important. Okay, is this understood? Okay, here I am pointed out the three types of lattice point through which it is passing. Here this is the body center. Here these are the face centers. Okay, here these are the edge centers. That means our rectangular plane of symmetry, our which symmetry? Rectangular plane of symmetry is passing through one body center. How many face centers? Four face centers. And how many edge centers? Four edge centers. Is that clear? This is only one point we are studying. So many points are there. Like plane of symmetry, only one point we are studying. Next plane of symmetry is diagonal plane of symmetry. Why rectangular plane of symmetry are three? Is it understood? Because they are passing through the face centers. And how many faces are there? Six faces. 6 divided by 2, you will get 3. Is it understood? So next we see about the next diagram. Okay, here comes the next diagonal plane of symmetry. Diagonal plane of symmetry combines two edges. See here, two edges. Now it is a question, what points it is? Here it is corners. Okay. How many corners are there? Four corners. Okay. And two edge centers. This is one edge center. This is another edge center. Okay. And what is this? What is this? Whatever I am circling is, this is just face centers. That means you can have idea. This is going to be helpful while deriving the empirical formula. So very, very clearly you should understand. So each diagonal plane of symmetry is passing through four corners, two edge centers and two face centers, and one more point also there. What is that? That is body center. This is the body center. Is it understood? So like that, how many diagonal plane of symmetry are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 diagonal plane of symmetry. So total plane of symmetry, if they ask what answer you will give, you will give 9. What answer you are going to give? 9. What are those 9? First one is 3 are rectangle plane of symmetry and 6 are diagonal plane of symmetry. 6 are diagonal plane of symmetry. Okay, is it understood? Next, after POS, then comes the AOS, axis of symmetry. It is an imaginary axis. It is an imaginary axis through which, when the given object rotated, will give two or more than two similar appearance. Okay. So here first AOS is fourfold axis of symmetry. First symmetry is fourfold axis of symmetry. There are how many axes of symmetry? Three such fourfold axis of symmetry. See, this is one, this is left to right, this is from front to back. Okay, front to back, left to right, top to bottom. Three fourfold axis of symmetry. Is that clear now? I think there is no doubt with the clear pictures. Okay, now let's see about the next one. Next one is here where you will get see, these are the twofold axis of symmetry. Twofold axis of symmetry, how many are there? Six such axes. So they will be passing through twofold axis of symmetry will be passing through the edge centers available diagonally opposite. Okay. So this is one edge center. This is another edge center. So from where they are passing, the further this clarity, see here, this is edge center, this is another edge center. Like that, how many are there? There are twofold axis of symmetry, six twofold axis of symmetry. Next, coming to the threefold axis of symmetry. Threefold axis of symmetry will pass through the corners. Will pass through the corners. So total, how many will be there? Four will be there. Total, how many will be there? Four will be there. Okay. So note down this. Next. Next one we are going to do is about the center of symmetry. What is the next one? We are going to do is center of symmetry. Okay, see this, there is only one center of symmetry. Understood? So total summary. Plane of symmetry are 9. Axis of symmetry are 13. Center of symmetry 1. Total elements of symmetry 23. Very, 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 very important. Okay. Okay, this is all about the elements of symmetry. Elements of symmetry. Okay, next one, as per the NCRT, there are four types of simple crystals, cubic crystals. First one is simple cubic lattice, second one is face centered, okay, face centered, and third one is body center, fourth one is end face centered. What is fourth one? End face centered, okay. So this is about the types of crystals in the cubic lattice. Types of crystals in the cubic lattice. Next, if there are differences in angles, or if there are differences in axial length, further they are divided into 7 basic crystal systems. How many basic crystal systems? 7 basic crystal systems. Okay. First one is cubic, tetragonal, orthorhombic, rhombohedral, hexagonal, monoclinic, and triclinic. And I find most of the time questions are coming from this tabular form only. So try to go through this tabular form and memorize them. Okay. So question can be monoclinic. Okay. Sorry. Question can be monoclinic. Okay. Like this question will be there. Monoclinic, see, all angles are different. Sorry, all interplanar distances are different, but one angle is not 90 degree. Triclinic is the most unsymmetrical system. Okay, triclinic is what? Most unsymmetrical system. Next, orthorhombic. All angles are, all distances are different, but all angles are same. Okay. Most symmetrical crystal system is cubic crystal. Okay. Where all angles also same and all distances are also same. only these are examples available in syllabus. Okay. So go as per the syllabus for the sure shot answering. Go as per the syllabus for the sure shot answering. Okay. Now, after repeated studying, also people are not getting understanding about the contribution. This is how the contribution gives. This is complete sphere. This is the complete lattice point. What is this? This is the complete lattice point. It is divided into first half. This is called as hemisphere, half sphere. Okay. Now it is further made into two parts. So this is the two part. Okay. Now this is further divided into here. This part is further divided into one more part. Now this is what is lies in each and every crystal. Each and every crystal contains only this part if it is corner. Okay. Very difficult to understand. That's why this diagram will help you a lot. Okay. This is about the contribution of corner. What is this? This is about the contribution of corner. Corner contribution is how much? 1 by 8. Okay. Next, if you see about the edges. Okay. So this was about what? Corner. Now it is about the edges. So in the edge, first it will be made half. Second, it will be made again half. Only 1/4 of the sphere, only 1/4 of the sphere lies within only one cell. So edge center contribution will be, edge center contribution will be how much? 1/4. Okay. Edge center contribution. Now let us see about the face center. Contribution of edge center is 1/4. Contribution of corner is 1/8. Contribution of face center is half. How it is? That we are going to see here. Okay. Now this is what the diagram shows. Face centered. See, only this will be in one cube, this will be in another cube. So one cube contribution is only half of it. One cube contribution is half of. This is face center. What is this? This is the face center. Is it understood? So this is about the contribution. Mainly corner is 1 by 8, face center is 1 by 4. Sorry, face center is 1 by 2 and edge center is 1 by 4. Okay. I think it is clear now. Now let us go for the next topic. Okay. So number of atoms after contribution, after checking the contribution in simple cubic 8 into 1 by 8. Therefore it is 1. Okay. Body center 8 into 1 by 8. Body center contribution will be 1, 2. Face center contribution 8 into 1 by 8 plus 6 into 1 by 2. Therefore you will get 4. Okay. So you will get 4. Is it understood? Now next, coming to the next slide. Packing efficiency, very important. So try to be understand very carefully. I will explain one and I will explain second, but third you have to do it on your own. Okay. So first let us see what is packing efficiency. Okay. Packing efficiency is volume occupied. Formula for the packing efficiency is volume occupied. Volume occupied divided by volume of unit cell. Okay. Volume available also we can say volume of unit cell and volume occupied. Okay. So packing efficiency is equal to, but this is the definition part. Once you apply on the formula, packing efficiency is equal to, it is number of lattice point per unit cell. This is the volume of each lattice point and this is the available volume. What is this? This is the available volume. For example, simple cubic unit. For simple cubic unit cell, Z is going to be what? How much it is? 1. Z is going to be 1. So, and A is equal to 2R. This relation is for simple cubic A is equal to 2R. On simplifying, you will get 0.52. how much you are going to get? 0.52. Okay. This is about the packing efficiency formula and its derivation of simple cubic. Now let us see about the packing efficiency of which type of crystal it is. Here, this is the packing efficiency of FCC. Okay, how FCC? Here for FCC, Z is equal to, just now I told you, 4. And A for FCC, A and R relation is 4R by root 2. Otherwise, 2 root 2R also we can say. So on simplifying, you will get packing efficiency of 0.74. Okay. Now, similarly, if you do it for the BCC, you can understand. So always make a note of it. Packing efficiency for BCC, packing efficiency for FCC, and packing efficiency for simple cubic. These are the things you have to remember. Okay. This is packing efficiency for what? FCC. Okay. Now most important and most difficult task is about the HCP. Okay. So this is the diagrammatic exploded view of the exploded view of what? HCP. Exploded view of HCP. So try to understand it very carefully with this clear diagram. Okay. So people are not able to understand about arrangement. See, here in this layer, the number of lattice points are how many? Total number of lattice points in layer A is equal to 7. One is called as a face center. 6 are called as a corners. See, this is corner, this is corner, this is corner. Likewise, how many corners you find? 6 corners you find. And this is face center. What is this? This is face center. So similar appearance of this, you find it here also. That's why this is also named as a. Okay. But here, these are called as a body center. Even though they are not at the center, but still they are called as a body center because they lie within the body. Where they lie? They lie within the body. Is it understood? So this type of structure is called as a AB arrangement. AB arrangement is for the HCP. AB arrangement is for the HCP. Okay. Okay, this is an exploded view of it. Understood? Here, actually, this much distance will not be there. Only you, for explanation, this is considered. They will be so close with each other. Now, contribution of corner. Contribution of corner in HCP is not 1 by 8. Okay? Why it is not 1 by 8? That I am going to explain. So, listen very carefully. Listen very carefully. Okay? So, here, see. This is a corner. Okay. Now this is shared by, each corner is shared by. Let us take this one. Okay. Each corner is shared by 3. How many unit cell? 1 unit cell, 2 unit cell, and 3 unit cell. Okay. Each corner will be shared by 3 unit cell within the same plane. 3 unit cell within the same plane. Similarly, if it is extended, 3 at the top, 3 at the bottom. So contribution of corner, 3 at the top and 3 at the bottom. 3, how it is? See, simply total angle is how much? 360 in a planar. Okay. Now it is each angle is how much? 120. So then you will get, after dividing, how much you are going to get? You are going to get 3. Okay. So how this 3 came, is it understood? And 3 in one plane, like that 3 in the above plane. So total contribution of each lattice point, contribution of each lattice point in the corner of HCP. In the corner of HCP is how much? 1 by 6. Why it is 1 by 6? I think it is clear. Any doubt into this? Now, here it is AB type again. Okay. So note down this contribution part and note down the number of lattice point in each plane. Okay. 2 face center, 3 body center, 8 what 12 corners. Okay. This is about the configuration of a HCP. Okay. Now let us see about the next part. So this is another diagram after cutting. Okay. This is what another diagram showing after cutting. See, these are the corners. These are the corner. This is the face center. Okay. The same way here it is at face centered cubic. Okay. This is about the face centered cubic. Now let us see the next one. Very, very important. At least one question will be from this tabular form. Okay. There are some types of crystal. This is only up to the mains level, advanced level, perovskite. Okay. What are the other structures? Perovskite structure, spinal structure, inverse spinal structure. They are all clearly explained individually. Each lecture was only for one type of crust structure like rutile structure, Woodside structure, everything was clearly explained with three-dimensional animation, individual lectures. Okay, this is only just a overlook of the whatever the syllabus is there in one shot. Okay, so here in the syllabus of the mains, in the syllabus of MSET, in the syllabus of NEET, these are only available. Okay, AB type, rock salt. Okay, cesium chloride, CSCl and zinc blend. There are two types of ZNS. Butysite is different, zinc blend is different. And fluoride structure AB2 and anti-fluoride structure A2B. Okay. So about them in FCC, chloride ions occupy, just a minute. Okay, chloride ions occupy FCC. FCC means all corners. Apart from that, they are also available at the face centers also. So don't have this misinterpretation. Okay. Okay. So FCC means number of chlorine will be 4. Okay. This is number of. And sodium positive are present in body center as well as edge center. So edge centers will be how many? Edge centers will be how many? Number of edge centers are how many? 12. Okay. 12 into 1 by 4. So 12 into 1 by 4, how much will get? 3 plus 1 body center. So 1 sodium, 1 chlorine. So number of sodium chloride per unit cell will be 4. Is it understood? Same way, then coordination number. This is the coordination number. Edge center of FCC is cubic void. That voids also we are going to study. So coordination number are 6. Examples very important. Here I have mentioned only those examples which are there in syllabus. Okay. Nothing extra, nothing out of syllabus is mentioned here. So I expect everybody should go through it. Okay. Then type cesium chloride. Cesium chloride, simple cubic is from the cesium plus. Body center is occupied by the Cl minus. Okay. So number of lattice point per unit cell will be 1. Coordination number, body center of simple cubic will have coordination number of 8. Okay. Same way zinc blend. Zinc blend is FCC by the S2 negative and CuCl, CuBr. Okay. These are the examples. Same way AB2 type. Here very, very careful. Don't misinterpret this. See here, number of calcium are less, but coordination number will be more. Okay. Number of calcium will be 4, whereas number of fluorine will be. Number of fluorine will be how many? 8. Okay. So, but total if you count number of CS CaF2, okay, will be how much? 4 only. Number of fluorine are 8, number of calcium are 4, but CaF2 will be 4. And coordination number will be just opposite. Number of calcium are 4, but coordination number of calcium will be 8. Same happens with the antifluoride structure. Antifluoride structure is Na2O. Okay, is it understood now? Now, shall we go for the next part? Okay. Now, next part is about the radius ratio. Okay, there are three types of radius. Okay, three types of radius in planar, and next one is the further we are having in syllabus only total two types most important. Okay, so what are those two types? That is tetrahedral and octahedral voids. Okay, so first see here, there are total types of voids. As a total I am telling you six. Okay, 4, 5 and 6. Okay, 1, 2, 3. First type of void is linear void. Its value lies between 0 to 0.155. Okay, and second is triangular void, starts from the 0.155 to 0.225. Coordination number is 3. And very important and most frequently asked are these two, tetrahedral and octahedral voids. Okay, tetrahedral voids radius ratio, and very important is this 0.225. When you will use 0.414, when you will use, that is what the most of the people are getting doubt. Okay, so 0.225 you will use when radius of small r is minimum. What is minimum? When small r is minimum, then you will use 0.225. Okay, and when small r is maximum, then you will use 0.414. When small capital R is minimum, 0.414. Okay, when small r is minimum, 0.225. When small r is maximum, 0.414. Limiting radius ratio, which part you will use? That 0.414. Ideal radius ratio, which one you will use? 0.225. Like that, every radius ratio numericals will be there. That wording meaning you should be able to understand. Okay, note down this, then we will go for the next part. Okay, next one is about the uh, defects. Next one is about what? Defects. Okay, so in the defect, very first defect we are going to study is stoichiometric defect. In that stoichiometric defect, first one is Schottky defect. Okay, in the Schottky defect you can see the from the diagram what is happening. Okay, so from the diagram it is completely clear, you need not to worry about the theory. Okay, so here see between the two B, what it is supposed to be, here A it is supposed to be, A is absent. Here between the two A, what is supposed to be? B. That means equal number of cations and anions are completely missing. Then it is called as a Schottky defect. Okay, then if there is a place empty, definitely density will be decreasing. Schottky defect, density will be decreasing. Is it understood? Now coming to the next part, I am clearing all this. Okay, next one is Frankel defect. Now in the Frankel defect, what you see here, it is supposed to be, where this is supposed to be here, but it is jumped from here to here. Okay, that is jumping of the lattice point from the lattice side to interstitial side. It is not completely going outside. It is within the crystal only, but not its own place. It is in the gaps of the crystal. That's why it is called as a Frankel defect. In the Frankel defect, there is no mass loss. That's why density will remain same. There is no loss in the mass. Therefore, Frankel defect does not result in any density decrease. And AGBR, AgBr is the best example of both defect where so many times it is asked, so try to remember it. Silver bromide. Silver bromide is the solid which have the all types of defect, which have what? All types of defects. Okay, that is Frankel defect and Schottky defect. This is the diagram showing them. Now let us see about the next part. So this is metal excess defect. Okay. Actually, metal excess defect is not because of the metal. It is because of the anion vacancy. Metal is extra, but we don't say that extra metal is coming. It is because anion, see here. This point is called as very, very important. Who will say what is this point is called as? This point is called as. Here it is supposed to be anion, but it is electron is there. This point is called as, very good. It is called as F center. Okay. F center is the place where anion, anion place is occupied by the electron. Anion will left that place. That left place is occupied by the electron. F stands for Fabry. Fabry stands for color. Okay. Color, because of this F center only, this entire crystal is going to be colorful. That's why it is called as a F center. Okay. So this is about the F center. Now let us see about the next point. So next one is metal excess defect. Again metal excess defect, but reason is different due to extra cation. Due to what? Extra cation. Okay. So, but where extra cation? Here it is. Here it is not supposed to be. And nowhere you will find place. So this is the only defect which will increase the density. There was a numerical where actual density is more than the calculated density, which defect it is. So that time what you will write? Metal excess defect. Metal excess defect will increase the density because this A is occupying empty spaces. So because of that, the density will be increasing. Zinc oxide is an example of this. Okay. So examples also you should know. Okay, next one is metal deficiency defect due to missing of cation. Okay, this is up to now we have studied metal excess defect. Here it is metal deficiency defect. See here, this is the place of the metal. But electrical neutrality, how it is maintained? This A positive is missing, but some charge is compensated by increase in oxidation number. Other metal took the responsibility of charge. Okay. So this was also a question, A2 positive. Okay. This is a metal excess defect. Metal deficiency defect, but it is found only when there is a, only when there is another metal are able to increase their oxidation number. Okay. Noted this. Now let us see the next part. Okay, next one is impurity defect. From this less diagrams but more numericals will be coming in the examination. See here, sodium, sodium and sodium. Everywhere it is sodium, but at this place, what you find? Strontium. So, but strontium is of +2 charge. Okay. So, if this place charge is increasing, so the charge increase must be compensated by decrease in charge. So this is called as a cation vacancy. What it is called as? Cation vacancy. Question will be concentration of cation vacancy. What is the question? Concentration of cation vacancy. Okay. So that is very important question, and that numericals we will be doing in the question session. Okay. Okay, now let us see the next part. Now, classification of solid based upon the conductors. If they are conductor, then most of the metals are metallic conductors, okay, semiconductors and insulator. Actually, this is explained on the basis of band theory. Explained on the basis of what? Band theory. So according to band theory, in metals there are two types of bands, okay, valency band and conduction band. So here in the metals, what there will be? There will be overlapping of, this is the conduction band, this is the conduction band, this is the valency band. So both are overlapped with each other. Therefore, metals are good conductors of heat, electricity. But here, this empty band, what is this? Conduction band is empty. But if you give some temperature, then these can jump and occupy the empty band. That's why this is semiconductor. At low temperature, this is empty. At high temperature, it will be transferred. That's why they are called as a semiconductor. Okay. And there is a large gap between the empty conduction band, valency band and conduction band. So there is no chance of jumping. Therefore, this conduction band is always going to be empty in the insulator. That's why they are always insulator. They do not conduct the electricity. Okay. Okay, I hope all of the topics are clear. Thanks for watching and all the best for your examination on the solid state. Wherever you feel, wherever you feel difficulty, that individual topic, lot of topic are clearly explained to the advanced level with derivation and all. So you can go through that individual lectures through the complete playlist. Complete playlist of solid state is there, where you will be having separate numerical session, separate DPP session, separate previous year questions, separate theory session, separate animation session, exclusively covered. Okay. So wherever you feel doubt, you can go through that.